California.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Thanks for joining me today. My guest is Ivy Larson, and she and her husband are the founders of Cuisine and more. And before the break, we were listening to Ivy's story of being diagnosed at age 22 with MS, and it just blows me away. So, okay, Ivy, thanks so much for being here. So you got this diagnosis, you were completely overwhelmed, and what options were you given?
Well, I was basically given three options. I was told I could begin one of the disease-modifying medications, which have many side effects.
Clearly, you didn't go for that.
No, I decided not to. I decided not to. I was also, and they were also contraindicated during pregnancy, which was a big deal because I really wanted to have a child, and I didn't want to be on medication while I was pregnant. So
right.
that was one of the big reasons why I thought I would delay the medication. Initially, I thought I was just going to delay the medicine for a few years. That was my original thinking. And my husband's a surgeon. He was actually at the University of Pennsylvania Medical School, which is like one of the top medical schools in the country when I was diagnosed. And he was very skeptical of my neurologist suggesting that I don't immediately start the medication. So
right, yeah, that was a big conflict for the two of you, right?
It was. Yeah, it was because he came from very mainstream medicine, and
right.
To not treat a medical condition with medicine and with nutrition, which I'll get into in a minute, was kind of against it totally went against the grain.
It's contraindicative for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the second option was to begin a trial, kind of like a guinea pig, for a medication that was going into the third stage, the human trial stage, which that was not appealing to me. Then the third, that was even less appealing than the one that was contraindicating during the pregnancy. And then the third option just seemed so simplistic. It was basically to change your diet and modify your lifestyle and gain control over stress. And I was told I was in the early stages of the disease, even though I was wearing a catheter and having what I thought were significant symptoms.
Right.
I was still told it was the early stages of the disease. And so I was told that the earlier you start, just with anything like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, then the better my options were. And that I was lucky that I was diagnosed so early, because a lot of people are 10, 15 years into having this MS or many conditions, and then they finally get the diagnosis, but the disease process has already been set into motion.
Right. I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, were you always had you grown up in a family where, traditional medicine was the way you do things?
Well, basically, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say my parents were health conscious, but I mean, if you have, a problem, you go to the doctor and you take medicine. Antibiotics, we didn't think twice about I was on many antibiotics growing up. I mean, I had ear infections and tonsillitis, and I was always on antibiotics. I mean, is it unusual
for a neurologist to give you the option of changing your diet and changing your lifestyle?
Oh, yes.
It is. That's what I thought.
It's not at all the norm. In fact, my neurologist now, my original neurologist who diagnosed me was at the University of Miami, and my neurologist now, who luckily I haven't even had to go see in a while, he was just one of the 4 doctors on, chosen as one of the top 4 doctors on Dr. Oz show.
Ah.
His name is Dr. Perlmutter, Dr. David Perlmutter, and he's the author of the Better Brain book. And his clinic is in Naples, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And he's an integrative neurologist, which means he's an MD, he's a medical doctor, but he's also very supportive of holistic and alternative therapies. And so he's a big believer. In his book, The Better Brain book, he talks a lot about, nutrition and the importance of supplementation, and he's not black or white. And the problem is a lot of times when you go to get treatment, whether it's with doctors, they're black or white and it's all medicine. Or then you go to a dietitian or an alternative doctor and they say, oh, never go to medicine. And my husband and I are, we're in the middle. We're not saying we don't believe in medicine. I mean, I told you right before the show, I just had a major surgery for an orthopedic issue. I mean, I believe in medicine and I know the power that modern medicine it has to improve lives and save lives. But it's not always the answer, and it's not an either-or thing. It doesn't mean that if you're going to change your diet that you can't also go on medication if you need it. But if you have heart disease, you can't go out and eat cheeseburgers and Big Macs and French fries and then also take a medication and expect the medication to do all the work for you.
Right. So you decided to go with the diet changing your diet. That seemed like the most simplistic way to do this.
Right.
And because of the great results of this, you have now founded Clean Cuisine and More.
Right. The Clean Cuisine, well, you can actually find it online. You can go to cleancuisineandmore.com or just cleancuisine.com.
Yes.
And basically what it is
there's a ton of stuff on this website, by the way.
Yes, it's definitely a pet project of mine. I basically give people a snapshot into our lives. My husband and I wrote our first book, The Gold Coast Cure, which was a bestseller back in 2005. And that was really supported and endorsed by Montel Williams. He gave us our first big national push. And that would discuss a lot about our nutrition as far as it applied to MS and many other conditions too, because this is not just something that applies to MS.
Well, let's just backtrack here for a second. This Clean Cuisine, and I want to get into exactly what it is, but it basically, from what I can gather and understand, it's an anti-inflammatory diet, right?
Right.
And that is the bulk of where most disease comes from, is inflammation in the body.
Right.
I know this from my integrative medicine doctor.
Yes, it's true, and it is. It's very true. So many conditions. That's the common thread.
Is the inflammation. It's not necessarily all the things that we're taking all these pills for to regulate our body. It's reducing that inflammation.
Right, that's right. And the thing is that conditions that are seemingly unrelated, from heart disease to
cholesterol,
asthma, to allergies, to obesity, arthritis, fibromyalgia, all these conditions, the common thread, common denominator is inflammation.
Right.
And so if you can control the foods that you eat are either can be highly anti-inflammatory, they can be neutral, or they can be highly anti-inflammatory or highly pro-inflammatory. And so if you push your plate more towards the highly anti-inflammatory, and then you can also take anti-inflammatory supplements like high-dose fish oil and doing the greens drinks that I do and that sort of thing, you really tip the scale and really push things over and help your body to naturally heal itself. And not that you're going to ever cure the condition, but you can control the symptoms so much so that you can not even feel as though you have the disease. And that's been, I've been lucky that I've been able to do that. And I'm not saying everybody's going to have the same results, and not everybody's going to be super young when they're diagnosed. And, this is not, I can't say for sure everybody will get the same results I've had, but you definitely aren't going to hurt yourself doing this. That's
well,
for sure.
I think we're at a point in our culture right now where, the evidence for how we eat is so overwhelming, and you either are going to embrace it, you're going to be on the fence about it maybe, or you're just going to disregard it as, I get it, but I don't care. So this is this is mostly about taking personal responsibility for what you actually want to achieve in your life.
Yes, it's all about that. You cannot expect nowadays to go to the doctor and just have them give you a pill and expect the pill to help you sustain a healthy life. You have to take personal responsibility, and not just for yourself, but for your children. I'm the mother of a 10-year-old, and I've raised him on Clean Cuisine. This is the
Okay, when we come back from the break, Ivy, I want to talk about exactly what Clean Cuisine is, because it's different than a whole food organic diet. So stay with us. Listen to Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back.
Hey, guys.